One of the things that's frustrating about the landscape, and I suppose it's true in any genre, but I would think especially true in this one, is that you're going in there and pitching, and you're fortunate to have these monoliths of television in the room with you to be able to say, well, Star Trek did that, or we did that.
All the time.
Or, maybe we can make it work for us, but Star Trek did that. I mean, there's only so much stuff out there.
And at a certain point, I just gave up because I would come up with, oh, wow, what about this? And I would go in and they'd be like, are you kidding? It's been done 800,000 times. And then I just, after a while, so what would end up happening is one of the guys would come in and say, oh, I've got an idea. Or they would talk about different ideas that they had for the season. And is anybody interested in any of these, or where we wanted to go with each, with the retrovirus, and then we're gonna capture a wraith and we're gonna give it to him and make him Atlantis
a human.
A human, yeah.
Oh, and, I see. Oh, we're talking Michael.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I want to do that one. I want to do that. That one sounds like a great character study. Also, something else I love doing are moral dilemmas, right? That just like, are we doing the right thing here? And so that wasn't my idea. I didn't pitch that idea. And in fact, I was trying to make it work with the team going out, capturing a wraith, injecting him. We're studying him. We're arguing, and he becomes a human. And now what? And it just felt so linear, and it felt so uninteresting. And then Malazzi, says, we start with him waking up, and we don't know who this guy is. And it's like, from then on, it was just like, yes, that's how to tell this story.
It's
and
not.
Why are we behaving like this?
You're right. It's not necessarily. It is about the story, but it's not necessarily it's the angle that you tell it as well.
POV.
That makes it interesting.
We're telling it from his POV instead of our POV.
Yeah.
And to me, that was much more interesting because it's much more, it's much more character based, and it's a mystery. And what's going on with this? And oh wow, why are we behaving this way? And it was.
Well, you want people to care for it too, and half of that I think largely comes from the story, but the other half comes from Connor. You pick someone that people are going to intrinsically, have a predisposition to liking anyway.
Yeah.
Based on the sci-fi background.
Yeah, he's an innocent, right? And he's trying to figure it out. And he's like, they keep telling me I'm this and this and this, and I guess I believe them. But why am I feeling these weird sensations? And it's
why is the big tall caveman always after me?
Yeah, what's his problem? Yeah. Yeah. So those are the kinds of stories that I was interested in, and they would also say, "Hey, look, we have something." I remember in Universe when Rob said, it was Rob who said, "I have this idea where Volker needs a kidney. We need to do a kidney transplant," and I think you'd be good for that one. So so I got that one. So. And that became Hope. So, they kind of knew which episodes were better for me, and which I would be better to handle. And so and Aurora was like that as well. When I first joined, that was my first script, was Aurora.
Really?
Condemned aired before it, but Aurora was the first script, and I just remember doing. I don't know. I remember doing an outline that I don't think anybody liked. And so then they gave me notes, and then I did another outline, and then slowly but surely it sort of got there. And then that first season, and even the second season, Brad was doing a lot of rewriting on, he would do his pass, to get the voices right, and I'm learning, right? When you jump in, you don't have the voices of these people. You watch it and you think you do, and then nope, McKay says this line, and that's so much better. That's McKay. Why did I write that other line? So you're just trying to learn and pick it up as you go along, and hopefully get better at it.
What do you initially come up with when you are writing? And I think a little bit of this has been telegraphed already with like coming in and finding Elizabeth in stasis, but that may not have been your original idea. So I do mean the first idea of that script. So the reason I want to ask is, when you're writing, do you come up with like individual themes, or like Rob Cooper does? He wants to tell, like, he typically thinks about his stories and themes, or do scenes come first for you, or something else?
I don't necessarily, it would be, it's more of the theme, I think, unless somebody pitches me a story that I immediately see. Like, for instance, on Universe, we were talking about the first 9 or 10 episodes of different things that the fire, water, earth,
Elements,
time, all those, and then life, and it was I forget if it was Rob or Brad or whoever said we wanted to do an episode like a day in the life on the ship, and how bleak it is for them. And I right away started thinking, that spurred some scenes. That spurred some, I thought of the opening and closing with a montage.
Right. Is that the worst day since yesterday?
Well,
I think that's
the great thing is, my daughter was in college, and she would send me, my daughter Brianna would send me these playlists and songs so that I could stay hip and stay current. And she actually became my technical advisor, because she's an astrophysicist, right? She's an astronomer now, and so I would always call her to run stuff by her and get her input and her notes and whatever. But anyway, she would send me music, and Flogging Molly was one of the things, and that song sort of became my theme song. Like, I love that song because it just speaks to me.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. You can find the full live stream shows on our YouTube channel, or visit dialthegate.com for the complete schedule. See you on the other side.